Do you want to understand and speak fast, fluent English? In this English lesson, we'll review some common sentences in English, and I'll show you exactly how you can sound more fluent, you can shorten words to sound more native, and how you can pick up on the listening tips that you need to understand natural English. Now, let's get started with the lesson. Listen to this practice conversation, then we'll break down each sentence word by word, and at the end, you will have speaking practice. Are you ready? Let's go. What are you doing? I'm gonna get a bagel, and I'm gonna walk to my favorite bagel shop. Is it Bruegger's? Their bagels are second to none. Yeah, most of the time they are so busy I don't want to wait in line, but this morning should be pretty quiet. What's your order? I get an egg and cheese bagel sandwich. I like that too. I just don't like to eat too much. You know what I'm saying? What are you doing? What are you doing? So in this first sentence, hopefully you listened to it in the fast version and you heard, what are you doing? When I say this sentence, it naturally comes out as, what are you doing? What are you doing? So what? Instead of saying are, we say and oftentimes in English when we're speaking, instead of saying you, we say ya. And doing, you just got to make sure to say that word very fast. Instead of doing, naturally we tend to say doing. Now, I want you to practice the sentence. What are you doing? Awesome job. I'm gonna get a bagel, and I'm gonna walk to my favorite bagel shop. I'm going to get a bagel, and I'm going to walk to my favorite bagel shop. Let's break down this sentence. I'm going to get a bagel. Are you a fan of bagels? I love bagel sandwiches. And in this sentence, instead of saying I'm going to get a, we blend these words together. I'm going to get a. Whenever we have get and a or a in a sentence, it shortens to getta. Practice this part of the sentence. I'm going to get a. Great job. So in this second half of the sentence, we really want to pay attention to the fact that to changes to ha in spoken English. I'm going to walk to my favorite bagel shop. So practice saying ta instead of to. I think this is one of the hardest things to change for English learners when they're trying to sound more fluent. And it's one thing that's really hard to listen for. I'm going to walk to my favorite bagel shop. Nice. Is it Bruegger's? Their bagels are second to none. Is it Bruegger's? Their bagels are second to none. Now, shout out to one of my favorite chain stores in the United States for bagels. A chain is a restaurant that has many different locations. It's usually owned by a bigger corporation. It's Bruegger's Bagels. So in this sentence, I say, is it Bruegger's? In English, when we're speaking, instead of saying, is it Bruegger's? It really blends together and you hear that Z sound. Is it Bruegger's? Is it Bruegger's? And Bruegger's is the name of the restaurant. So practice that part of the sentence. Is it Bruegger's? Nice. Now, there aren't really any accent tips or tricks in the second part of the sentence, but I did want you to note the phrase second to none. When you say that something is second to none, it means it's the best. It's in first place, so it would not be second to any restaurant. So in this sentence, we say, their bagels are second to none. Awesome. Yeah, most of the time they are so busy I don't want to wait in line, but this morning should be pretty quiet. Yeah, most of the time they are so busy that I don't want to wait in line, but this morning should be pretty quiet. Now, in the English phrase most of the time, when we're saying this phrase, so not in written English, it shortens to most of the time. Most of the time. It is like we're almost saying most of, but that word just kind of disappears when we're speaking quickly. So let's practice this sentence. Yeah, most of the time they're so busy I don't want to wait in line. Awesome. Now the second part of this sentence is, but this morning they should be pretty quiet. Now the accent tip here is when we use this filler word pretty to describe something as very, we say pretty quiet. Pretty quiet. It's kind of sing-songy, and it's just a very American thing that we do in our sentences. So of course you don't have to add this to your English, but just know that many American English speakers sound exactly like this when they say pretty quiet or pretty hungry, pretty thirsty. It becomes very sing-songy. So let's practice this part together. But this morning should be pretty quiet. Awesome! What's your order? What's your order? In English, when we say your, when we're speaking quickly, it often changes to your. What's your order? What's your order? It's really, really quick, but I want you to practice that one. What's your order? Great job. I get an egg and cheese bagel sandwich. I get an egg and cheese bagel sandwich. When we are listing two things or two options even with the word and in the middle, when we're speaking English, it starts to sound like N. So in this sentence, we're talking about a bagel with egg and cheese. Egg and cheese. Instead of saying egg and cheese, we say egg and cheese. Egg and cheese. So let's practice the whole sentence. Repeat after me. I get an egg and cheese bagel sandwich. Wonderful. I like that too. I just don't like to eat too much. You know what I'm saying? I like that too. I just don't like to eat that much. Do you know what I'm saying? Now this sentence sounds so American. It's very natural. The sentence is I like that too. I just don't like to eat too much. So remember, we're changing the word to, T-O here, to ta. I just don't like to eat that much. I just don't like to eat that much. So practice this part of the sentence. I like that too. I just don't like to eat too much. If you sounded like me, you're getting pretty good and you're starting to sound natural. Nice job. Now the second part of this sentence isn't necessarily an accent tip, but it's something that you'll hear so many native speakers add to their sentence when they want you to acknowledge what they just said, or they want you to agree, or they want to see how you're feeling about something. We will say, you know what I'm saying? Or it will sound like, you know what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying, or yeah, know what I'm saying. Let's practice. You know what I'm saying? Awesome job. Thank you so much for speaking natural, fluent English with me today. I hope you'll take these tips into your daily conversation or your daily listening practice that I know you're doing. And make sure to visit EnglishWithKayla.com for more English lessons and my English course. I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye!